So, what is Justin Sun's version of My Girlfriend Jing Tian actually about? In simple terms, it's the story of a man who says he had admired a woman for almost 20 years. Then one day, he finally met her. They started dating. They traveled together. They met each other's parents. They talked about marriage and having children. Then, 30 million yuan entered the story. And later, 50 million US dollars. In the end, they broke up, and the love story turned into a legal dispute involving more than 30 million yuan. Before we continue, one thing is important. Today, I'm not here to decide who was right or wrong. I'm simply going to tell you the story as Justin Sun wrote it. And interestingly, at the end of his article, Sun himself added a disclaimer saying the story was fictional and any resemblance was coincidental. So, with that in mind, let's look at Justin Sun's version of the story. It all started in 2007. Justin Sun says he first noticed Jing Tian in 2007. At the time, he was still a student. They didn't know each other. But according to Sun, he saw her picture online and even kept that photo for years. Almost 20 years later, he finally met the woman in that picture. So the beginning sounds almost like a romantic movie. A man finally meets the woman he had admired for nearly 20 years. But then, the story gets much more interesting. Nearly 20 years later, they meet in Hong Kong. According to Sun, the two eventually met in Hong Kong, and something very Justin Sun appeared almost immediately: the $6.2 million banana. Yes, that banana. In 2024, Sun paid around $6.2 million for the famous artwork Comedian, a banana taped to a wall. According to his story, he showed the artwork to Jing Tian after they met. Just imagine, you finally meet the woman you've admired for almost 20 years, and you say, "Come with me, let me show you my $6 million banana." That's certainly a very Justin Sun way to start a romance. Then the relationship moved very quickly. According to Sun, their relationship developed fast. They watched movies together. They traveled together. They went to Tenerife and later to the Maldives. Private jets, luxury hotels, staff. Sun describes many of these details in his story. But more importantly, they began talking about their future. Meeting parents, marriage, and even having children. And that's when the first big number appeared. 30 million yuan, Sun says he gave Jing Tian's parents. 30 million yuan. According to his version of events, the money was connected to their plans for marriage. This later became part of the financial dispute between the two sides. But at that point in Sun's story, they were still planning a future together. They even began discussing surrogacy. And then came an even bigger number: $50 million. According to Sun, the two discussed having a child through surrogacy. He says Jing Tian later traveled to the United States in preparation for an egg retrieval procedure. And this is where the story takes its biggest turn. According to Sun, while she was in America, a request was made for 50 million US dollars. Not 50 million yuan. $50 million. And then comes one of the most unusual parts of the whole story. Sun says, he asked AI what he should do. His girlfriend was asking for $50 million. Should he give her the money? According to Sun, AI advised him, don't do it. So he refused. He says Jing Tian simply replied, "Okay, I understand." The call ended. And according to Sun, their relationship also began to come to an end. But the 30 million yuan didn't disappear. The relationship ended, but the issue of the earlier 30 million yuan did not. Eventually, that money became the subject of a legal dispute. So if we look at the whole story as Justin Sun tells it, 2007, he first sees Jing Tian. Nearly 20 years later, they finally meet. DM. They start dating and traveling together. DL. They meet each other's parents. 30 million yuan. Cloud. They discuss surrogacy. $50 million. He refuses. They break up. And the 30 million yuan dispute ends up in court. That, in short, is Justin Sun's version of My Girlfriend Jing Tian. But here's what I found most interesting. After reading the story, the thing I remembered most wasn't actually the romance. It was money. A $6.2 million banana. 30 million yuan. Private jets. Luxury hotels. Property. And finally, $50 million. That's what makes the story so unusual. It's called My Girlfriend Jing Tian. And it begins with a man talking about a woman he had admired for nearly 20 years. It sounds romantic. But as the story continues, the numbers get bigger and bigger. And eventually, the love story becomes a legal dispute. So after reading it, I was left with one question. Is this a love story or a very expensive relationship bill? And remember, today we've only been talking about Justin Sun's version of the story. How much of it you believe? That's another question. What do you think? A love story or a relationship bill? Let me know in the comments.